All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dale's Weston Lanes for Championship Sunday. The 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling State Championships. Everybody well rested? No. All right, we are looking forward to our individual state championship step ladder final here this morning. First of all, round of applause for the entire staff here at Dale's Weston Lanes all weekend long. Fantastic job, the volunteers, the staff members here, everybody's been absolutely fantastic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 individuals who have qualified for our step ladder final here this morning. 5 for the boys, 5 for the girls. When I call your names, please head out to the lanes, out onto the approach. We will introduce the entire field here right away to get things started, and then practice will commence. First of all, we begin with the girls field. The number 5 seed from Menominee Falls, Olivia Broadback. The number 4 seed from Wittenberg, Burnham Wood, Holly Orgeman. The number 3 seed and 2024 champion, Maggie Porter. The number 2 seed from Sussex Hamilton, Autumn Vodica. And the number 1 seed from Racine Case, Abby Fletcher. And for the boys, number 5 seed from Sheboygan Lutheran, Kyler Zeman. The number 4 seed from Bayport, Levi Gabriels. Number 3 seed from Verona, Nolan McNally. Number 2 seed and defending champion from Campbellsport, Carson Schrauf. And the number 1 seed from Amherst, Ian Dudley. Ladies and gentlemen, one big round of applause for all of the finalists for our state individual championships. Bowlers this morning are contending for scholarships provided by the Wisconsin State USBC Association and Phil Laporte scholarships. Phil is in attendance here this morning. Let's hear a big round of applause for Phil Laporte and the scholarships provided for the bowlers here this morning. All right, practice will commence in just a few minutes. Good luck and good bowling to all.
And with those wonderful announcements, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back to the wonderful center known as Dale's Weston Lanes here in Weston, Wisconsin. It is the 2026 Wisconsin State High School State Championships. Of course, big part of the BCAW, fantastic organization. My name is Emil Williams Jr. and alongside ESPN Madison's Jesse Nelson. You just heard his voice, as he always does here on Championship Sunday, handling all of the announcements. He will also have the call with me here this morning. And Jesse, of course, as we bring you into the broadcast, this is always one of our favorite days for sure. The excitement level is going to be intense, as it always is. And very much looking forward to this singles competition, both boys and girls, loaded fields, as we talked about before.
Yeah, thanks, Emil. First of all, thank you so much for welcoming me back here. 11 years now I've been doing this, many of them with you, and it's always fun to come back. And it's always fun to be here at Dale's Weston Lanes, just outside of Wausau. This is one of my favorite centers in the state of Wisconsin. They host the tournament very regularly. Been a couple of years since we've last been here, 2023 the last time they hosted, and this place is awesome. It feels like, we were talking last night, it feels kind of like the Rose Bowl hosting a big college football game. Like, that's just kind of what the feel is here. Like, there's great centers all around the state. We'll be back in Ashwaubenon next year. We were in Neenah last year. Every place is great that hosts these tournaments, but it always feels a little extra special when we're here at Dale's Weston Lane. So it's great to be back here. Great staff. Sarah Elliott, the entire crew, tremendous. Now, when we talk about the competition here this morning, this is going to be tremendous too. There are storylines abundant across these individual state championships. The girls' field is loaded with veteran experience. Sometimes we get to these state singles championships and there's, a freshman is in there, a sophomore is in there. Well, this year, the girls' field, we've got 4 seniors and 1 junior. And these bowlers are just absolutely phenomenal. Olivia Broadbeck, a senior from Menominee Falls, is a very decorated bowler. She's bowled 248 frames this season. She has a BER of 65.5. She's a part of a team that finished 3rd in the state tournament last year in Neenah. Holly Orgeman from Wittenberg-Burnham, the number 4 seed, finished 2nd in the individual state finals in Ashwaubenon back in 2024. Maggie Porter won the single state championship that year in 2024. She's the number 3 seed from Cambridge, part of the Sun Prairie Co-op. Autumn Vodica from Sussex Hamilton. Sussex Hamilton team has been tremendous in her years as a bowler there. And Abby Fletcher of Racine Case is the only qualifier this year in the girls' field who has not bowled in a team or an individual semifinal in her career, and she's the number 1 seed. So a phenomenally loaded girls individual championships field here this season. For the boys, on the other hand, some fresh faces, some new names. Kyler Zeman of Sheboygan Lutheran, the only sophomore in the field for these state championships here for the singles this season from Sheboygan Lutheran, but his brother Dalton finished 3rd in 2024, so he's no stranger to what the situation is here bowling on Championship Sunday. Levi Gabriel's plenty of experience from Bayport. Nolan McNally from Verona put up amazing numbers in the qualifying rounds. He had a 748 series in the first 3 games on Friday. He was 2nd in the standings that night. Carson Trout, the defending champion from last year. Ian Dudley from Amherst had a 777 in the first 3 games on Friday. So it's just a tremendous, tremendous field of bowlers. The scores have been high this weekend. And here, even though we're on a little less sleep with daylight savings time last night, everyone is going to be ready to rock here this morning at Dales Weston.
No, they're definitely ready. There's no question about that. Yeah, it's a different feel, man. When you wake up and know you got an opportunity to win a state championship, you don't have to get excited for that, right? There's built-in intensity, there's built-in excitement, and the only thing that the players really have to be concerned about, obviously, is what they're bowling on. It's not something they're unfamiliar with. They've been bowling on it, of course, all weekend long. 43 feet with respect to lane distance, 29, close to 30 mils, so a higher volume, but just from watching practice, it does look like there's some miss room, there's some forgiving room, so I anticipate both of these step ladders to be pretty high scoring.
Yeah, the lowest averages for the number 5 seeds here in these qualifiers for the step ladder final for Olivia Broadbeck of Menominee Falls, the 5 seed for the girls competition, she averaged at 211. 4 seed Holly Orgeman averaged at 212 over her 6 games. Kyler Zeman for the boys, 225 average through the 6 games of qualifying. That's the 5 seed. So the scores in front of him are even better than that. These scores this weekend have been up. They have been high. Sometimes we see these individual championships, sometimes the oil pattern can be very tricky, and it's a little bit of a how well can you navigate it type situation. That's not the case this year. This year, we're going to see a lot of strikes, and it's going to come down to how many strikes can you string together, and can you capitalize if you have an opening when your opponent provides you one. That's going to be the key here over this step ladder final coming up.
Players have 5 minutes of practice. That 5 minutes is now complete. Coaches talking with their respective players. So the anticipation. You're about ready.
Love the setup here at Dales Weston Lanes, too. So it's not a traditional setup like you normally see for a lot of our state championships where it's just straight bleachers across the back, so maybe an elevated situation. This is stadium seating. It really feels like you are in the crowd with this setup, with the bleachers extending on either end all the way out to the lanes for fans to be able to sit on, for the volunteers and the staff members here to be able to sit around, and it just feels big. It feels like this is a monumental morning here for these bowlers contending for a state championship, and it just adds to the appeal and the aura of Championship Sunday. It's what makes this day and this event so special.
Looks like everyone is just about ready. Just a good look at what Jesse was talking about just off to the right side there. That's the bleachers, and of course you see a lot of BCAW staff. That's the case on both sides of our 5 through 8 setting right now.
And I'd say it's kind of like the Wisconsin Badgers student section rolling into a football game, and maybe in years past not so much. Like it's maybe a little late arriving crowd with the daylight savings time and everything going on this morning. But everybody who's cheering on these competitors, they are all here ready to go. What we're going to see as the morning goes on is the fans who are coming in for the team competition a little bit later are going to start to get situated. Some of the bowlers involved in the team competition are going to come over from the Storm Doubles on the other end of the center, and they're going to come over and watch how that plays out. So as we continue on this morning, these bleachers are going to continue to fill up, and this is going to be an electric atmosphere. Hey, we're underway. First ball for each of our respective competitors out. And a strike to start for Kyler Zeman of Sheboygan Lutheran. First ball of the state individual championships here on Championship Sunday. Stepladder final, Kyler Zeman, the sophomore from Sheboygan Lutheran, delivers a strike. Olivia Broadbeck over on lane 5 with an 8 count on her first ball. Boys and girls competition here going on simultaneously. Olivia unable to pick up the spare in frame number 1. But as we talk about in frame number 1, if you're going to have an open, if you're going to get used to the lanes, that's the spot to do it. Because then you can still string strikes together the rest of the way.
Also love that we got past champions and obviously a defending champion, of course, on the men's side, a past champion in the girls' side of things, too.
Yeah, this is an absolutely loaded field, both the boys and the girls here today. Levi Gabriels is no stranger to success here at state championship weekend as he delivers a strike on lane 8 for his first ball of this stepladder final. 9 count for Holly Orgeman, a junior from Wittenberg-Burnhamwood, member of the Chargers bowling program. She finished second in 2024 in Ashwaubenon, only behind Maggie Porter, who's waiting in the wings next from Cambridge and part of the Sun Prairie Co-op program. Holly converts in her first frame. That's an early advantage for Holly in the girls' match.
Holly headed to Jacksonville State, which is the top NCAA women's collegiate bowling program. So more talent heading to Alabama.
Yeah, if you're like me, you learned a couple of years ago, Jacksonville State is not in Jacksonville, Florida.
That is correct.
That's a fun fact that I got to learn a couple of years ago when I said something silly on ESPN Wisconsin about it. I had no idea. So, great bowling program. There are representatives here from collegiate bowling programs across the country, knowing how loaded these championships are, and not just here on Championship Sunday, all weekend long. Great bowlers, so many great names that don't make it here to the televised finals that there are too many to name, but a lot of successful bowlers at a lot of successful programs across the entire state.
We'll send in messengers early, Jesse. That's a good sign, too.
And Holly still trying to find a good strike line, but she is 2 for 2 on converting her single pin spares here, and that gives her the early advantage in the girls' match. So all strikes for the boys. And let's see if Olivia has a good response here in frame number 2 as she steps up on to lane 6.
Just want to see her clear her mind. Ease back into competition here. A good shot in frame 2.
Still trying to find that line. What differs from the team competition later in the Baker format is that you have a little bit of time here to figure it out when you get going in the first couple of frames. Obviously, with just one game, you don't have a ton of time to figure this thing out. You want to try to find that line as quickly as possible, and the boys have done just that as we have a great strike here from Kyler Zeman, continuing all strikes in the boys' match here as we roll on in the third frame. That's a great spare for Olivia Broadbeck, coming across the lane, picking up a little baby split and her first mark of this match. So you have a little bit of time to figure it out, but by the time you get to frames 3 and 4, that's really where you've got to have a good understanding of where you want to be for the rest of your match.
Yeah, and it's tough too because, as you just said, there's not a lot of time, right? One game matches really speeds up everything. It can even speed up your process. So it is important for the bowlers themselves to make sure they remain steady in their pre-shot routine.
Olivia Broadbeck, big shot here in the third frame. Trying to stay in this. Comes up a little high. Makeable spare with 2 on the right-hand side. Levi Gabriels. 3 for 3. How about this story kind of bookending the career of the senior from Bayport, Levi Gabriels. Here at Dales Weston Lanes in 2023, he finished 5th in the state individual championships as a freshman. And he hasn't been back in the championships as an individual. The Bayport team has been successful over the last couple of years, contending on Championship Sunday. But he hasn't been back in the individual competition until now, here in his senior year, back at Dales Weston Lanes. Started it here as a freshman, and now here as a senior, trying to close it out, run the stepladder final here and win a championship.
Holly.
Well, not a lot of movement on that one. I was kind of stuck in the middle of the lane. I thought that was looking like a pretty good ball. So
Yeah, it looked like she was throwing urethane, and I didn't catch that on the right lane prior to.
Yeah.
And so, of course, urethane, she might be trying to tame, this lane pattern, specifically the back end of the pattern. So she may have elected to try to do that.
All strikes through 3 for the boys. Levi pushed that one a little far to the right, leaves 3 on the left-hand side. Can Holly get this? Fighting through the middle of the lane. Yeah, nice shot.
Nice bucket conversion. See how she attacks the left lane. With respect to the boys, because of the rev rate, and Holly's kind of in the same boat, but I think Holly's kind of electing to limit or minimize if she does miss. With respect to the boys, if they miss right, that's probably their best miss. Although I could see the potential of 2-8-10, 2-8s possibly happening, and you can see right now the 2-4-5 here from Levi.
Let's see if he can convert this one.
Oof.
Yes, sir.
That's a good break. That hooked a ton.
Holly's clean through 3. Can she keep it going? Oh, that's going to be a tricky one.
Yeah, I'm assuming Holly doesn't really want to hook the lane, and so she moves. She can play further right with urethane, and not have to really open up the angles yet. Now, she may have to potentially. The good news is she's in a good spot. She's got the lead, so she can afford a mistake or two early.
Kyler Zeman 3 for 3, make it 4 for 4 with a strike in the 4th on lane 8.
Slide.
Well, Holly went for it and didn't come up with anything. I don't blame her for trying to go for it. You want to try and stay clean at this juncture. And so with the open frame in the 4th, that's a 61 mark here in the 4th frame for Holly. And coming off of an open frame, Olivia Broadbeck in the 4th frame steps onto the approach with a chance to seize momentum here. Can she find that line? Sticks it in the middle, and that was a good spot for it. Just wasn't able to get the action she was looking for to convert on the left-hand side, so she'll have to come across the oil for this spare.
The ratio of these patterns, 5 to 1. I'm sorry, for the singles pattern specifically is also 5 to 1. So is the team pattern. Oof, good shot there.
Oh, man. First non-strike for Kyler Zeman here in the 5th, and that was a good ball. Just left that 10-pin.
So the singles pattern is 41 feet, team pattern 43 feet. Subtle differences in volume and distance, of course. But with the 41-foot pattern for singles, yeah, there's just a little bit of additional hook that you would see down lane at the end of the pattern. Hold on.
Whew. How fast did he throw that ball? Holy smokes. Almost 24 miles an hour to go get that 10-pin.
That's a better shot. Great shot.
like the Miz throwing a fastball across home plate for the Brewers. Holy cow. That's a big strike for Olivia Broadbeck over on lane 5 in the 5th frame. That's the first strike in the girls' match here.
That was
something to figure it out.
Something I would not have anticipated.
Yeah, kind of two different matches it feels like going on here. Very clearly stylistically. The boys is kind of heavy hitters. Who's going to not strike? That could be what it comes down to with some big scores. The girls' match is Holly comes up with a strike here in the 50, so they're starting to figure it out now, making the right adjustments, and this is going to come down to the wire between Holly Orgman and Olivia Broadbeck in this first match of the girls' stepladder. Off a spare in the 4th, Levi Gabriels came up high on that one. Leaves 4 on the right-hand side.
So she did exactly what I thought she would do, Jesse, which was eventually she, based on the ball reaction with urethane, she tried to stay a little further right. That didn't seem like the right move. And so because of her rev rate, she's able to move left, almost play them much like we're seeing the boys play the match, especially as a two-handed player. Open up the lane, use something that's a little bit cleaner to get it through the front part of the lane, and have plenty of energy down lane.
It's a great explanation of what the strategy is here. Making the adjustments mid-match. Nice spare for Levi. That was a big one to pick up with the extra one hiding behind. So that's a nice spare for him. He's still clean through 5. And now a 10-pin left for Olivia Broadbeck here on lane 6.
And that 3, 6, 9, 10 generally is not a favorite for any right-handed player to shoot at.
Olivia able to pick it up. New this year, Emil, we've got a couple of informational sheets on all of our bowlers here today. And one of the fun things, who they want to give a shout out to on the broadcast. So I want to make sure that we mention those throughout this morning. Olivia wants to give a shout out to her younger sister, Emma. And also thankful for her mom encouraging her to both start and continue. Always there for her practices and matches throughout her bowling career. Both bowlers throwing at the same time here. Levi comes up with a strike, as does Olivia. All right, not sure if that was exactly what they wanted to do there, but it worked out for both of them. Synchronized action. So Holly's working on a double here as she steps up in the 7th. Olivia's gone strike, single pin spare, strike in her last 3 frames. This shot may tell us a lot of where this match is going, and that was, I thought it was a good line. Left the 10-pin.
You knew that one had the hook. It was very steep. It got to the right pretty quickly. Wraps a 10-pin.
Big shot response for Kyler Zeman over on 8.
I like what Kyler's doing, too. He's actually playing a little further right, more up and down or front to back, if you will, in comparison slightly to Levi.
Holly converts the spare. Kyler, by the way, wants to give a shout-out to his coaches, Mike Stubler and Kevin Gamach of the Sheboygan Lutheran program. Also wants to thank his mom and grandma supporting him in all he does throughout his bowling. I love this, making it a family affair here.
That's important.
BowlStreamTV broadcast here this morning.
Very important. Shout out to the parents and the fam.
Kyler on 7, working off a strike. Can he get 2 in a row? Yes, sir. Man, these are heavy hitters here in this boys match early on. This is just a sign of what's still to come throughout the morning. You don't get a lot like this in the first match of the stepladder final here on Championship Sunday. This feels like it could be 2 bowlers contending for the title. And Holly again leaves a makeable spare with a 9 count. This is really coming down to the wire here as we get into the 8th frame now for the girls' match. Levi Gabriel's on 8. Yeah. That is not the result he was looking for. So you got to take the 2, I think.
Oh yeah, gotta get count here.
I don't know how gutsy you want to be in trying to go for it. We saw Levi fire a fastball. He can chuck one down there and try and go for it, but I think at this point that's the first, assuming he doesn't make it, the first open in the boys match. Take your 2 and hope for a break.
He's got a chance.
Oh my gosh, oh, he did go for it, and he really gave it a good run. So he gets 1 of the 2 on the right-hand side. So that's a 139 now for Levi with 3 frames to go. Yeah, there's a good line for Olivia Broadbeck over on 6. She found it.
She's actually moved, I feel like just subtly, very subtly further right, and is kind of playing what in the bowling world might be termed as the shim line, where kind of the oil kind of meets as you are working your way uphill. She's kind of in that zone, and with the slower ball speed, she actually needs a little more oil to help her ball continue down lane before it sees the end of the pattern and starts to make its move.
That's a great adjustment she made because she had that split in the second. You just look at where she's bowled in these frames here. In the second, the split. Also had an 8 count in the 4th, 9 in the 6th, and now comes back with a strike in the 8th. That's huge, and she'll finish up on lane 10 also. Here she is over back on 5.
Great shot.
Yeah, she's found it now. That's 3 in a row for Olivia Broadbeck in clutch time.
Pretty impressive the way that she has made as we said, the adjustments. And again, staying patient in a 1-game match is very, very difficult because, as we talked about at the Open, you don't have much time, right? And especially when you feel like you may be trailing quickly. The difference here is Holly didn't strike early on, so I think Olivia was able to still settle in.
Levi picks up the spare in the 8th, but now he's going to need a little help from Kyler Zeman here as he steps up in the 8th. Holly Orgeman, 9th frame, and a 9 count. Just can't find a good consistent strike line here in this match, and it looks like Olivia's going to have this one in hand, I think.
Well, still some work to do for Olivia, but Orgeman can make it difficult on her. Certainly with a spare here, that leads 2 in the 10th frame. Now over to Kyler.
Kyler Zeman on 8. Oh, yeah. What a shot. He is locked in here early on a Sunday morning.
And for Kyler, that will about do it.
Holly with the spare. All right, so this is big here in the 10th for Holly Orgeman. Wittenberg Burnhamwood finished 2nd in 2024 in the state individual championships at the Ashwaubenon Bowling Alley. No stranger to success here on Championship Sunday. And she's just a junior, the only junior in the field for the girls' singles championships here. The rest are seniors. So Holly's the only one that'll have a chance to come back next year and make another run at it in Ashwaubenon one final time. Kyler with another strike in the 9th. That's now 4 in a row.
Yep, and he's going to be advancing. Big shot here for Holly. A double will be clutch and trouble.
And now that should just about do it. As long as Olivia keeps it on the lane, she should be in good shape. Been a heck of a career for Levi Gabriels. Mentioned it started here as a freshman. Finished 5th in the boys state individual championship right here in 2023 at Dales Weston Lanes. Last time this wonderful center hosted the state tournament. Has not reached the individual finals again until this year as a senior. But that Bayport team has been so good for the last number of years as well, with him as one of the main focal points of it. They finished 2nd in 2024 and 3rd in 2025 in the Division I team field. So he's been a very decorated, very successful bowler all 4 years of his high school career. And he'll go out strong here in the 10th.
Like what Levi's doing. Still taking that opportunity to learn. Made a ball change. All right, didn't want anything. Olivia said, whoa, wait a minute. Do you want anything wild to happen? She has advanced, though. Yeah, I thought Holly, once she made the move to get in or to move left, had the quick double, then she got one right in that 7th frame, and she wrapped 10, and then it became, I don't want to get too far right early. If you miss left, then you're in trouble with respect to, not being steep enough and getting the pattern or getting the bowling ball high on the head pin. So she went through a few things while Olivia made subtle moves to the right. And ultimately, those subtle moves and the ball speed was just enough for Olivia to advance.
That ended up a lot closer than I thought it was going to, I will admit. 178 to 172, the final. But Olivia does advance. The number 5 seed, Olivia Broadbeck of Menominee Falls, will move up the stepladder to take on Maggie Porter of Cambridge. Coming up next in the girls' stepladder final here on Championship Sunday, Levi Gabriels closes with a 218. Nothing to be ashamed of there. And again, a decorated career for Levi Gabriels. Going to come to a close here. Wants to give a shout out to the Bayport bowling community that supported him and he's been a huge part of over all his years in Bayport. Also want to thank the most influential person of his bowling career, his Mama Gabriel, supporting.
That's awesome.
During everything all year. And it's a formality now, but Kyler continues to be locked in. He threw, I think it was just a 10-pin he left in the 5th frame, right? That was the only thing preventing him from.
That's what prompted the fastball comment from you.
I forgot about that. That's pretty good. So this is, we'll see what he chooses to do here with the final 2 balls now that it's all locked up here. If he wants to, if it was me, I would think about maybe trying to throw like a 10-pin or something across the lane just to kind of give yourself that extra opportunity of practice in case you're in that situation in your next match. But if you're as locked in as he is, why not just keep firing him? Well, that's exactly what he does with that messenger coming across. How about it? Look at that, 6 in a row.
What I think he will do, or he might do, I should say, is if he wanted to try a different bowling ball on the field, he can. He has that opportunity. It doesn't look like he's going to do that. I think he's going to just continue to stay locked in or maybe see how much missed room he has accumulated at this point. He's going to be on the pair. If he's going to run the ladder, he's going to be on the pair for every game. And so he would have the best insight on the moves to make. That is the benefit of bowling in the opening match. You can get comfortable, you can get locked in, and hopefully win a state championship.
And he's still, everything but the 5th. Where he just left the 10-pin. 279 for Kyler Zeman. What a performance to start our stepladder final here on Championship Sunday at Dales Weston Lanes. 279 to 218. Kyler Zeman of Sheboygan Lutheran advances up the stepladder. He'll face Nolan McNally of Verona Area High School coming up next for the boys. And on the girls' side, Olivia Broadbeck, 178 to 172 over Holly Orgeman. And of Menominee Falls, Olivia Broadbeck now advances, and she will face the 2024 state individual champion from Cambridge and a member of the Sun Prairie Co-op program, Maggie Porter. Championship Sunday, hot start here on BowlStreamTV. Love it.
Yeah, very interesting the way the opening matches unfold. It also kind of lets you know and gave you obviously the peek into what the pattern could develop into. For the boys, I think it'll be, managing for both matches, really, managing the lane transition. For the boys, I think they saw it quicker, meaning they understood where they wanted to play and where they needed to play a little quicker. For the girls, that was a little slower to develop, and then they started to make the adjustments, make the moves subtly as they got into frames 3, 4, and 5, and then you saw better shots, better shot making as that match closed out. Mm-hmm. But again, for Maggie, especially as a lefty, right, her side is untouched. She's got fresh over there, so she might have an advantage from that aspect working against Olivia. I think from the Olivia perspective, understanding where she wanted to play, throwing better shots. Also think maybe a couple nerves early on, right? First couple frames, you settle in. She settled in nicely.
Well, and quite frankly, don't discount that it was daylight savings time last night.
That's
a lot
fair.
of these bowlers are here with their teams or
That's
watching
fair.
the team competition unfold until 10 o'clock at night. You never know if you're going
That's
back to
very
the
fair.
hotel. Like, you might be staying up and hanging out with your friends and going to the pool or whatever everybody does. A lot of the great hotels around this greater Wausau area, so there's not a lot of sleep. And so a lot of the competitions throughout the season typically are mid-afternoon or after school during the week. This is early, and especially given the time change last night, it is a little different getting here bright and early and the environment around you. Even if you are some of these competitors that have been in this situation before, it just kind of hits you a little different here on Championship Sunday until you get a frame or two into it, and then you get to feel it. It's just bowling again. Then you get dialed in and figure out your line and make your adjustments. 4 balls for each of the bowlers coming in for the next round of the step ladder. So it's not the full 5 minutes of practice. They get 4 balls. The competitors who were already bowling on these lanes do not get any additional practice. So the bowlers coming in get 4 balls, and then we get going. Introducing you to the bowlers coming in here. So the number 3 seeds, Nolan McNally of Verona, the Wildcats. That's west of Madison, down in my neck of the woods. Second in the standings after the first 3 games of qualifying with a 748 on Friday. Averaged a 249 through the 6 games of qualifying. And Nolan's second most strikes in the district in the greater Madison area, behind only Zane Pankowski of the Sun Prairie West Marshall co-op program, who had 126. Nolan had 115 strikes, over 198 frames bowled this season. So expect some more big strike numbers coming up in the boys match here as the step ladder continues. I guess this is kind of like we're welcoming in the bowlers from the Madison area here in the number 3 seeds, because Maggie Porter also, I'm a resident of Sun Prairie. She's part of the Sun Prairie co-op program. Cambridge, a little bit south of Sun Prairie, but in that general neck of the woods, just outside of Madison. 121 strikes for Maggie this year, the only bowler in that district with more than 100 strikes this season. So she is a big hitter, and as we mentioned, she won this championship back in 2024. Also a member of the team state championship as a freshman here at Dales Weston Lanes back in 2023. So Maggie Porter, a very decorated career. Team state champion in 23, an individual state champion in 2024, and now trying to close out her bowling career by coming away with a championship here as both an individual and as a team coming up a little bit later. The Sun Prairie co-op program will be bowling for the Division I Girls Team State Championship later today, and Maggie is a key component of that. So Maggie Porter getting her money's worth here this weekend at Dales Weston Lanes.
Well, we talked to the Brunicks, of course. They're wonderful coaches who have been part of this program for decades, and the amount of strikes that she put together, I think it was during the team competition. I believe the number Ms. Brunick said was 40.
40 strikes. Yeah.
40 strikes in Baker competition.
Crazy. I mean, that's how good the Sun Prairie team is. Fantastic. They always are. Great coaching. Just a fantastic team all season long. And for them to average a 178 and for Maggie to be the kind of key cog in how that operation runs, as she has for so many years now. We get to see her go out really with a couple of chances to showcase her skills here today, both in this individual competition now and in the team competition coming up a little bit later. And you can watch it with us here on BowlStreamTV.
In my experience, we've had a couple of players, try to pull off the double, if you will, win singles and then win team. And obviously that's what Maggie is looking to do. One small, actually one very important programming note. Daria Pionk, the wonderful PWBA standout. She was here this week on behalf, of course, of the BCAW. and Storm as a guest interacting with all the players and coaches this week. She is going to join us for the semifinals and the championship match. So Daria Payonk will be in the booth with Jesse and I, again, the semifinals and the championship matches respectively coming up. But first, Maggie Porter gets us started. Match 2.
First ball over on lane 5.
Good shot.
Yeah, just left that 7-pin, so pretty dialed in right away. We'll see if she can convert the single pin spare. Interesting that Maggie opting to throw first, while Nolan opting to throw second. And how about that messenger for Kyler, picking up right where he left off in that first match with a 279, and he delivers a messenger in the first.
That's his third messenger. And that one wasn't kind of the normal messenger, if you will.
Nolan McNally gets all 10. Ooh, Maggie came up short on that spare. Just missed it a little bit to the right. It's not something you see every day. I know fill percentage is not something we necessarily value as much as the Baker equivalency rating here in Wisconsin high school bowling, but Maggie Porter with a 92.6 fill percentage for the season.
Well, I do think that tells a story, though, right? You can always depend on a player who's got a 90+% fill rate.
Nolan dialed in 2 for 2.
Talked
about the big strike percentage that he had coming in and showing his stuff right away. And we mentioned the fans were going to file in here as the day went on, and sure enough, they are certainly starting to do so. Some of his Verona teammates here cheering him on in their orange and black jerseys off to the right-hand side. Getting a little chuckle out of Nolan here as he goes 2 for 2 to start.
And I feel, right, that's the part where, they're bowling individually, but it's the team aspect. Their teammates are here supporting, rooting them on. Makes it extra special. And that's the first real sign of trouble there for Kyler. That one came screaming off the pattern. I thought it was a good shot. So to me, that's an automatic 2-1, maybe even 3-2 on this pattern. Oh, my. Wow. Very intriguing. So the 6-pin will have to be respot as it moved.
Olivia Broadbeck of Menominee Falls just kind of staring with a sheepish grin on her face.
Well, that's about all she could do.
Out. I mean, what else are you going to do?
That's about all she could do.
You get a break like that in one of the biggest matches of your life.
Let's see if we can take a look at that again.
Just shift it over a little bit. Wobble, wobble, and I'm just going to hang out right here. That is a tough break.
6-pin is respot. We'll see who will go first. It's going to be Olivia. One of 4 seniors part of this step ladder today on the girls' side. Great spare.
So I know we've had some technological advances over the years here on BowlStreamTV. I was wondering if we had a camera back behind where we had anyone going to help set the pins, or the automated system, if we had something special back there. I guess we'll have to put that in the budget for next year.
Well, I'll ask.
Kyler Zeman bounces back with a big strike on 3. That's a huge shot because he did have that. That was the first time where he faced real adversity so far here today, and he comes right back, delivers a big strike on 7. And he's going to force Nolan McNally to continue to throw some big shots here. And Nolan starts 3 for 3. Maggie Porter off a rare open frame on 6 delivers with a big strike. We talked in the first match, if you're going to have an open, Olivia started with an open in the first match, and she was able to advance with a 6-pin victory, 178 to 172 over Holly Orgeman. If you're going to have an open frame, the first is where you want it. Nolan McNally, 4 for 4 with a strike on lane 7. We do have fan cam here on BowlStreamTV. We got to get that. That's awesome. I love that. here comes Maggie Porter. 2 in a row, you bet.
Very powerful.
She is just so consistently dominant.
Very powerful. That truly could be hard to beat.
And, you know, I've always liked giving the lefties a little grief for how much easier they have it compared to the rest of us with the lanes breaking down. But
not all the time.
Not all the time. There's no doubt about it. It's tongue-in-cheek. But, you know, Maggie, once she can find this line, you know, the lane admittedly won't break down as much for her as it will for everyone else. And so she can stay dialed in, and she can use that to her advantage as best she can. Olivia off of the spare, just a 5 count here on lane 6.
Greek Church, again, you know, pattern continuing to be part of this transition. Again, she's got slower ball speed, so she always has to be mindful of that. Super washout, try to convert it here for Kyler. He takes the count.
Oh my gosh!
There it is.
Oh!
How about that?
Down goes the Greek Church on Championship Sunday.
Wow.
Wow.
I will say this.
Shot of the day so far.
Now, having slower ball speed helped that situation a lot. Let's take a quick look at that.
Olivia Broadbeck keeping herself in the match. She placed that perfectly.
That was dead perfect.
Textbook shot. Now, can she capitalize? Ah, good ball. Left a 7-pin.
I mean,
that would have been huge to get a strike there, but still a good count coming off the spare. We'll keep her in this match. Kyler pushed that, I thought, a little bit to the right, but he was able to get it to come back. High rev rate will help in that case, and he gets a strike in the 5th, coming off of the open in the 4th. All right, got to come across the lane now to pick this up. Not an easy shot all the time on Championship Sunday, but Olivia able to convert.
A closer look at McNally.
Yeah, he is locked right now. 5 for 5, coming in fresh. Here is the number 3 seed. 58% strike percentage. I mentioned second most in District 4 in the Madison area this year. Maggie Porter, also from the Madison area in District 4 with a huge strike percentage. She's 3 for 3 here in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th frames. Nolan. Oh, he kept that inside. And for the first time today, Nolan McNally does not strike. Has a 9 count. He's going to have to come across the lane to convert the spare here in the 6th. As big as all the strikes have been for Nolan here so far, and he's built a lead, but this shot may be his biggest of the match. Gotta get it, and he does. And Maggie Porter struggling over there on 5.
Yeah, and she's going to keep, by virtue of that, right? She's going to keep Olivia in the match. And we've seen what Olivia can do, right? If you just go back to the opening match against Holly Orgeman, it took her a few frames to get comfortable, figure out what the lanes wanted her to do. And then once she was able to figure that out, she executed very well, right? So you can't give an opponent more opportunity. She's already made the Greek Church today, right? So we know she's got the ability to make moves.
Kyler's going to try and continue to keep the pressure on Nolan to close this match out. Maggie opens in the 5th. It's rare when she has 1 open with a 92.6 fill percentage on the season. She's got 2 here in the first 5 frames, and she's got to figure it out quick. 92 for Maggie after 5. And now Olivia, because of making that Greek Church, has been clean through the first 4. And depending on what she does here in the 5th and 6th, could actually end up in the driver's seat here in this match. Kyler's got 3 in a row.
And Kyler showing the resolve to right? Went through some struggles, the super washout rebounds with a three-bagger, knowing he's got to have his best from here on out. There's Olivia again.
Huge.
Right? She just continues to understand what she has to do. And because she's keeping it really simple, right, she know her moves are subtle. Oh, 7-10 Messenger. Man.
The Verona fans cheered on their teammate Nolan McNally, loving that conversion.
Well, this is unbelievable. I tell you, one thing so far we've seen that just from messengers, you love messengers, right? Which means, your carry percentage is going to improve if you can get there. Now back to live action.
Olivia, okay, that's a solid 9 count here on lane 5, where she has not found a really consistent line here in this match. And Nolan leaves a wobbler. It's the 4-pin over on the left-hand side. So Kyler's still got a chance working on 3 in a row if he can continue to string the strikes together here down the stretch. Big spare for Olivia, clean through 6, and now she actually does have a 2-pin advantage as Maggie Porter steps up in the 6th.
For Kyler, most important shots for him about to be this 8th and 9th frame. He can still shoot 234. Right now, Nolan pacing in the 230s, meaning if you were to go strike, spare, 9th and 10th, he'd be in the 230s. It's a big opportunity to apply a little pressure here for Kyler.
Both of these matches really tight right now as we get into clutch time in the back half. And Maggie Porter bounces back with a strike. So she has struck on every shot, the 2nd, 4th, and 6th over on lane 6. And that's big because that's the lane she'll close on in the 10th, if you're doing the math on how this will shake out for the girls' match.
That was a must strike there for Kyler. Again, Maggie headed to University of Nebraska, Lincoln. The Huskers to get another player. And I'm just thinking right off the top of my head, Anna Callan was a fantastic high school bowler in the state of Wisconsin. She went to Nebraska. Now Maggie going to be following in her footsteps. Big double opportunity. There it is.
None of these bowlers are going to go quietly. We know that.
We will not go quietly into the night. Those of you who love Independence Day.
Mentioned a lot of veteran experience here. The only sophomore is Kyler Zeman, and he's proving he belongs today.
Clutch.
That's now 5 in a row here
Clutch
as
shot.
he heads into the 10th.
That's very important, right? And now it puts, again, it shifts to Noel because he is the one in the lead and cannot make any mistakes at this point. I do think Olivia likes the right lane just a little bit better, and I think that's showing. Big shot here.
Nolan has struck every ball on lane 8 so far, and he delivers again in the 9th. So we're looking max 259 for Nolan here. You can close it out right now.
He can. A mark would get him there. It's inside a target.
That's
and
not
boy,
where he wanted that.
It was inside a target, Jesse. He needed a mark to lock this thing up. Now he has to make it to solidify.
Oh, boy. Man, it's how crazy a match can turn just like that.
Gotta have it.
Open 10th. A 227 for Nolan McNally.
Again, the max for Kyler now 234. He has to secure the first 2 in the 10th.
His only open frame of the entire match.
He will need 2 strikes and 4. Again, 2 strikes, 4 on the fill. He's going to allow Maggie to go first.
Maggie looking for a 3rd in a row here in the 8th. And she knew how big that shot was, and she loves that right lane. Kyler with the strike. And now the biggest shot of his life so far coming up.
6 into the 10 for Kyler. Yeah, he's handled the adversity very well. He left a 4-9 back in the second frame, the super washout in the fourth. He's made all of the adjustments on the right lane. It's the lane he's finishing on. And now one more shot, and he is going to continue his state championship journey.
Maggie Porter trying to set herself up with a strike here in the 9th. That left lane has not been kind to her in this match. A 7 count with 3 on the left-hand side. She'll try and track down. And things continue to stay tight in the girls' match. Kyler Zeman with a strike. And now if he keeps it on the lane, he should advance.
Wow. Needs 4. He saved his best for last, Jesse, and you know that's all you can ask for as an athlete. Your opponent gives you an opportunity. You've got to be in a position to step up, take advantage of it as you watch what ultimately could be the winning shot here on your screen.
Kyler Zeman, no stranger to clutch shots. He has thrown 2 300 games in his career, and he's only a sophomore.
And now Maggie with late trouble in the 9th.
Oh, no.
Her max is 205, but Olivia, still with work to do, but she can close out the match. Nicely done.
Kyler Zeman continues to run the step ladder, 233 to 227. What a match against Nolan McNally of Verona, and Kyler Zeman advances to face last year's champion, Carson Schrouth of Campbellsport. Olivia Broadbeck with a strike in the 9th.
Now, Jesse, I'm going to bring something back up here because it looks like, again, I talked about the right lane specifically for Olivia. I think she's got a little bit more hold on the right lane, just a little bit, and it may have come from Holly Orgerman. Even though it was just so subtle, she threw urethane for a few frames, but it could have been just enough to push some oil down the lane and create hold for Olivia, who needs it more than Maggie because of her lower ball speed. A strike here will be huge.
Tried to go Brooklyn on it.
It's okay. So what that now has allowed is for Maggie to step up and still have the advantage. She can still win the match.
Right now, if Olivia can pick the spare up and then strike, that'd be a 194. And Maggie could eclipse that.
Look out.
Oh, no. And that's an opening for Maggie Porter to stay alive all of a sudden. Olivia Broadbeck with an open 10th for a 182.
And now she's going to need 8 pins on 2 shots. 8 pins on 2 shots for Maggie Porter to advance.
As decorated, as good as all of these bowlers are, the pressure can get to you on a single pin spare like that in a clutch moment. And oh, that's a tough break for Olivia. Maggie needs 8. How about all 10 to advance? Maggie Porter, the senior, won this championship in 2024. When she opened the 9th, you could see her trying to hold back the emotion, walking back from the approach, thinking that her career may have just come to an individual end. Again, she does contend in the state tournament later as a team for that Sun Prairie Co-op program. But she has new life.
We saw 2 matches, Jesse, that came down obviously to the 10th frame, and I know bowling, when we talk about it, we're talking about strikes, but you know, if you watch any high-level player, I'm sure Daria talked about this, right? Because we talked about Daria being here this weekend talking to the players. She's going to join us again in the semifinals. Make sure you are watching for that. But it does come down to spare shooting. It always does. It always comes down to that. And, you know, opportunity knocked for Maggie after she thought, right, she had given away that opportunity by her own missed multi or makeable spare. And now it's a 195 to 182 victory, and Maggie's state championship journey also will continue.
Spares don't win you the match, but they can lose them for you if you don't convert. You got to make your spares.
The patented Jesse Nelson.
I love
line.
it. Every year, 11 years in a row now, I think I've worked that into these broadcasts. You got to make sure that you keep yourself in contention by converting on those spares, especially those single pin spares are so tricky and so much pressure is on your shoulders. Just you and that 10 pin or that 7 pin standing alone out there in the corner. It's such a tough shot to make with all the pressure here on Championship Sunday. So the 5 seed Kyler Zeman continues to climb the ladder. He's now on to the semifinal here to face Carson Schrouth of Campbellsport. Carson Schrouth, the defending champion a year ago in this individual championship. He won it in Neenah. The Campbellsport team also finished in 3rd place last year, so coming off of an outstanding year. Senior Carson Schrouth, 97 strikes, 2nd most in District 7B, only behind his teammate, a junior, Lance Cutts of Campbellsport, who had 101. Finished 4 strikes behind him this year, a 54.5% strike percentage. He also converts his fill 89.9%, let's just call it 90% of the time for Carson Schrouth. He is a decorated bowler. He is an individual state champion. He is the defending champion, and he comes out onto the approach here on lanes 7 and 8 for his warm-ups. And meanwhile, for the girls, Autumn Vodica of Sussex Hamilton, a senior, steps out onto the approach. And Autumn Vodica, 53% strike percentage, 2nd most with 124 strikes this year, 2nd most in District 1, the absolutely loaded District 1 in the Milwaukee area, behind only 143 of Mackenzie Larson of Greenfield. In the qualifying rounds, Autumn Vodica of Sussex Hamilton threw a 7.06 to lead qualifiers after the opening round on Friday night. She was the only girls bowler on Friday with a 700 series, with a 7.06 in those first 3 games. Ultimately ends up as the number 2 seed here in the step ladder. She did finish 2nd last year. Lost the Division I championship match to Kenosha Indian Trail as a team with Sussex Hamilton. Team also finished 4th in the state finals in Ashwaubenon back in 2024. If you want to talk about a bowler who is very familiar with advancing not only through the qualifying rounds here at the state tournament, but advancing to these step ladder finals, both as a team and now as an individual, Autumn Vodica of Sussex Hamilton certainly ready for that challenge. So those are the number 2 seeds. Carson Schrouth, the defending champ from Campbellsport. Autumn Vodica of Sussex Hamilton, both seniors. And they will await Maggie Porter, a senior of Cambridge, advancing on the girls' side. And Kyler Zeman, the only sophomore in the field, advancing up the stepladder as the number 5 seed. Now on here to the semifinals for the boys. Zeman versus Schrouth, Porter versus Vodica. As we get ready for the semifinals here of the Wisconsin High School Bowling State Individual Championships in 2026 at Dales Weston Lanes. Again, these bowlers are contending this morning for scholarships provided by the Wisconsin State USBC Association, the Phil Laporte Scholarships. The tradition for the bowlers to contend for $500 scholarship goes to the winner of this tournament this morning, and then incrementally $400 for 2nd place, $300 for 3rd place, $200 for 4th place, and $100 scholarship for 5th place. So the bowlers not only bowling for those trophies and to be recognized in championship lore here in Wisconsin high school bowling, but also for those scholarships, the Phil Laporte scholarships. Again, a great component, makes these championships all the more meaningful for these bowlers as they get ready to go on and pursue their respective college paths.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we mentioned, we would have Daria Payok in the booth with us, and she has kindly joined us here on BowlStreamTV as I am fumbling papers. I'm good for one paper drop and one pen drop every single broadcast.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
every single
there's
broadcast.
the paper drop. We'll keep track for the next pen drop, too.
We'll bring it into the booth for just a couple of seconds before we get into these matches. But Daria, first of all, hello. Great to see you, as always.
It's really nice to see you as well. I only get to see you on tour,
I know.
so it's nice to see you in a different environment as well.
And it's great to meet you,
nice
Daria.
to meet you as well.
So you've been up here all weekend long on behalf of Storm. Is this your first time in Wisconsin? Is this your first time around this high school bowling state championships?
I had worked some events in the past before COVID.
Yes,
I was at the All-Star event. It was also a high school event in 2018 and 2019. But this is my first this tournament.
So welcome back.
Thank you.
The atmosphere here for the Wisconsin High School State Championships, I put it up against anything.
It's unbelievable, just the amount of youth bowling here. It's phenomenal. So it's great to watch everyone bowl, and just the intensity of the players is awesome to watch as well.
We'll talk more about the experience here this weekend as we continue on with Daria here as she joins us in the booth on BowlStreamTV. First shot of the semifinal belongs to Kyler Zeman, the sophomore from Sheboygan Lutheran, leaves a single pin opportunity on lane 7. Maggie Porter gets the first shot in the girls' match over on lane 5 and a solid strike to get things underway. So you've had a bunch of interactions with the bowlers at the table that you've been at on behalf of Storm all weekend long. What have the conversations been like, and what have the bowlers been interested in learning from you this weekend?
It's been a lot of conversation about college, about bowling in general, tips about like how to carry the 10 pin and how to carry a 7 pin. I wish I was able to watch a bit more of bowling itself, but with the amount of people in the building, it was very difficult. It kind of reminded me of college bowling when you have a player on the lanes, a whole team behind, and then their family, their mother, their dad, their aunt, everybody was in the building, which is really cool that, bowling brings people together.
I hope no fire marshals were in the building here over the last couple of days with the wall-to-wall people lined up enjoying the competition. First shot for the defending champion, Carson Schrouth, is a solid strike on lane 8. The boys' competition particularly today, Daria, we've seen so many big hitters, so many strikes on display. These lanes have been pretty forgiving, and the boys have been taking full advantage, knocking down some really high scores this weekend.
Yeah, I've been watching both of the matches, and I can tell whatever the guys are doing, they're doing really good. They're utilizing the lane, the part of a lane that is definitely playing to their advantage. They are starting farther right, and they're playing exactly by the track where you can see the biggest margin of error. They can miss a bit right. When there's a bit drier, they can miss a bit left. So it's not just about the fact that they are... Okay.
Messenger comes over for Carson Schrouth, and the defending champ starts 2 for 2. Strikes in the first and second. Meanwhile, Autumn Vodica, Sussex Hamilton, working off a spare in the first, and she gets some help with a pin carrying over to take down the 7 in the corner. And a strike for Autumn in the second frame.
It's going to be some exciting matches.
Oh, it's already been awesome. And we talked about this field of competitors for this individual championships coming into this. A lot of veteran experience, a lot of decorated bowlers across the high school scene over the last several years. Some like Carson Schrouth, who won the championship last year. Maggie Porter won the championship the year before that for the girls.
Awesome.
So seeing all of these bowlers and their teams have been super successful as well. Having them here on Championship Sunday, this is a great display of some of the best bowlers Wisconsin high school bowling has to offer in 2026.
Do we have any seniors in those matches?
A lot of them. A lot of them are seniors. In fact, Maggie Porter and Autumn Vodica for the girls match right now, both seniors.
Both of them, okay.
And then Abby Fletcher, the #1 seed waiting from Racine Case, is also a senior coming up. 4 of the 5 competitors here on the finals on this Championship Sunday, seniors for the girls. Kyler is the only sophomore in the field for either competition, and he's running the stepladder right now. He's up to the semifinals and working on a strike in the second as he throws this shot in the third. Pushed it a little outside. Is he going to get the help? It comes back pretty far and leaves a single pin just like he did in the first.
He is utilizing the part of a lane very well. I feel like he does have a big margin of error, but don't get me wrong. everybody's bowling on the same conditions, right? So it's not like he does have it. He just utilizes it in a very, very good way. He stands in the right spot. He's using the right ball. I wonder how the lanes are going to progress as the transition comes. I hope that he's able to make changes as they come, because the way the ball is leaving his hand is really good today. So.
Single pin spare for Kyler Zeman. We were talking about single pin spares, Daria, because it can feel like so much pressure for these bowlers when you face just that 10 pin or just that 7 pin with all the weight of these matches on your shoulders. Have you felt that over your career?
Of course. I think it's in every level of competition, you know, that you're not supposed to miss any single pins or anything, because at the end it is the easiest shots, but sometimes those easiest shots are the most difficult, and that's where the mental load comes in play, right?
Absolutely.
So we saw in the last match that Maggie Porter was kind of struggling to find the line that she liked here over on lane 5, and in the third, it leaves a difficult split to convert with 2 on the right-hand side.
I think the 2 shots before on the same line, that's where she had a 2-4-7 that she did chop, but that just shows that the lane tends to hook a bit more. I wonder if that would have her have to move just a little bit to the right, or she wants to stay in the same spot, just maybe bowl down to something that doesn't hook so much.
Just a quick reminder of what the players are bowling on your screen. There's the lane pattern. Again, 41 feet. It is 28 mils. It's very close to 29 mils. 5-to-1 ratio. So again, as Daria mentioned, some opportunities certainly for misroom, as we've been talking about, and players, you know, essentially fine-tuning their way, how they're going to match up best individually.
Oh, Emil, can you leave this up for a second? I was going to ask Daria. We can put that back up here in a second.
1 second.
After the shot for Autumn Vodica in the third as a strike, she goes back-to-back. So, Daria, when you're interpreting this oil pattern, what do you look for as a pro?
So in general, like from just looking from afar, you can see that on the left side of the lane, the right side, from 0 to board 6-7, there is very little oil. That means that it's going to be the dry spot. In the middle, you see that there is more oil, which means that if you try to find your breakpoint somewhere in between the oil and the dry, that's where you want to be, because if you miss right, you want that ball to come back. And if you miss left, you want that ball. Oh, that's a great shot.
Yeah, Autumn Vodica now 3 in a row as she converts a strike in the fourth.
She's putting some pressure for sure. So if you miss left, you want the ball to see that oil in the middle of the lane, so that way it can push and still get to the pocket. That's ideal scenario. So that's why when you come in and you start bowling on a fresh pattern like that, you don't really want to be too deep inside, or at least you want to make sure that your breakpoint gets to the right, because you can get yourself stuck in the middle part of a lane where there's no really much forgiveness anymore.
And we have seen that a couple of times here today.
And just like that, you can see that Keller missed a little bit in, and the breakpoint was no farther right than probably 8-9, and 8-9 still has lots of oil in there. If that ball was to get to 6-7-8, it would just bounce back like as if someone was to kick it.
Maggie Porter with a big strike in the fourth on lane 6. Her second strike of the match, and that's a good bounce back after the open frame in the third. 3 in a row for Autumn Vodica. She's in the driver's seat as we approach the midpoint there, and here's a single pin spare that comes up empty for Kyler Zeman. And you just talked about it, Daria. In the middle of the lane, that oil, if you get stuck in the middle, it's difficult to try and get the ball across.
Unfortunately, yet again, this is a difference sometimes between flat patterns and patterns that have a bit of a higher ratio. On the flat patterns, you miss right, the ball goes right. You miss left, the ball goes left. When there is a ratio and there is a difference between how much oil is in the inside opposed to the outside, that's where things get flipped, you know?
This is why it's great having a pro in the booth with us. We all get smarter when Daria Payong joins us. Big strike. How about another big strike? That's 5 in a row for the defending champ, Carson Schrouth of Campbellsport.
One quick item I noticed with Autumn, just looking at her ball rotation, her ball roll kind of sees the lane a little earlier than like Olivia, for example. And so she's been able to get her ball moving earlier, going forward kind of quicker. And I think that's one reason why she's been able to get off to a better start on this pair.
Yes, I think so too.
She'll have a tough spare to come across the lane on here. Meanwhile, 6 for 6. Carson Schrauf.
I don't know if that's visible on the live stream, but Carson's speed shows 17.9, which is really, really high. Kyler's definitely firing it as well with 17.3 on the stream. That was a spare shot, but I don't think his strike shot is any far away when it comes to speed from his spare shot. But both of them have a very, very high speed, which allows them to kind of stay a bit straighter without having to hook the whole lane, because the amount of rev they have is awesome.
That's one of the things that stood out to me. You know, I last bowled in high school in 2010 in the state tournament that was here at Dales Weston Lanes. And I remember when we were seeing bowlers throw 15 miles an hour. It's like, oh my God, look at you throwing how fast. Just the amount of intensity that we've seen with
100%.
the evolution of the sport in the last decade. It's been remarkable.
100%, yeah.
That was almost a huge break for Autumn Vodica with a pin coming across to try and take out the 7. She had given up on it, had her back turned. The crowd informed her that it almost went down, but it does stay, and she has to come across the lane. Not an easy pickup here for Autumn. With that single pin 7, she is clean through the first 5 in this girls' stepladder semifinal. Autumn fires at it with a little head lean to make sure she informed the ball she wanted it to head that direction. And I was always like that too.
Kyler needs a strike now.
And he gets it. Big strike in the 7th for Kyler Zeman. After that open frame in the 5th, he bounces back with 2, and he's going to try and put the pressure here on Carson to continue to deliver in the final 4 frames.
Very interesting, Jesse and Daria and Kyler's previous match against Nolan. Very similar. Nolan got out to a big lead early. He was on 279 pace. Kyler had 2 opens actually in the first couple of frames. The difference right now, he's got to put together the 6-bagger. It's hard to look at Carson and say he's going to stop striking. It certainly doesn't look that way. We'll find out here.
Oh, that one left a little. I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it. I think you just jinxed him.
It's the old broadcaster jinx. It happens.
But yet again, if you were to look at the shot of Carson, he did miss a little bit left, and it hooked more than it did before. So I think he kind of got away with just the 8-pin. It could have been a strike as well, right? We never know, but it could have also been a split with the 6 and 8.
Maggie Porter comes up with the spare in the 6th. Carson able to convert his first spare opportunity here in this match. Maggie Porter, by the way, this decorated senior from Cambridge, Wisconsin, just outside of the Madison area, part of the Sun Prairie Co-op program. She'll be part of the Team State Championships coming up later today. Wants to give special shout-outs to her dad, always pushing her to do her best, and one of her biggest supporters in her bowling career. Also, a special shout-out to her family and friends watching back at home in Cambridge. Thank them for joining us here this morning on BowlStreamTV.
That's a big one for Maggie.
Huge shot for Maggie Porter.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Just keep putting on the heat.
And remember in the last match, Maggie opened in the 9th, and she thought she was done, the way she reacted with her facial expression walking back from the approach, but she got a huge break with an open frame from Olivia Broadbeck in the 10th, and Maggie able to survive and advance here to the stepladder semifinal. So
You're never done until mathematically it's over, right?
And the big 4 as 6 goes into the 10 for Autumn. The big 4 here for Carson. He's going to give this one a run. He'll make sure of count.
Take 2, yep. You're in the driver's seat still. You can afford to play that a little more conservatively.
This is exactly where Kyler was in the previous match.
Almost the same formula.
He still got 238 max. He had 234 max in the previous. Obviously, Carson is going to finish the match first. That's the subtle difference. So Carson will still control his destiny.
Autumn keeps throwing very high quality shot, but I'm not sure if she's seeing how her ball is rolling out a little bit at the end, so leaving her with a 7-pin this time. 10, almost a 10-pin the shot before. Almost a 7-10 this time. I feel like a ball change or a saddle move would really help her to help the ball retain some energy. But as long as she's controlling the pocket, that seems like it's enough to control the pace of this match.
Second straight time on lane 5 that Autumn Vodica comes across the lane to convert a 7-pin on a single pin spare. But she does remain clean through 8 and still in the driver's seat. She has 2 frames remaining. Maggie Porter with 3 as she steps up onto the approach here in the 8th. But first, Kyler Zeman working on 3 in a row.
Looking at Kyler's feet, he is 3 boards farther left than he was in the game 1. As long as he gets it to the right.
Good line, good shot, good action, and he hammers it all.
That was a big frame, how Randy Peterson said it's foundation.
Foundation indeed.
Sets up the whole match now.
Maggie Porter coming off a strike in the 7th, here in the 8th. Feeds it right into the pocket and knocks them all down. Maggie does not want to leave this tournament. Carson Schrouth foundation in the 9th, and he gets all 10. Bounce back after the open in the 8th.
Really, really good shot.
All right, so similar situation.
I guess a strike 9- would set the match. That would give Carson advancement to the finals.
This first ball in the 10th is going to tell us a lot about how the boys' match wraps up. Meanwhile, Maggie Porter trying to continue to put the pressure on here in the 9th. Leaves 2 pins on the right-hand side. So if she can convert this.
Big shot for Carson.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Same area of the lane. He missed twice on this left lane.
Well, I saw him throwing at 23 miles an hour. If he can just ump it up to maybe 25, the pins might hit us, you know?
They might bounce. They might
They
bounce.
might bounce. At this point, the count doesn't really matter, so he might as well just try to go for it.
Give it a go. He's going to, and he comes away with 1. It almost bounced back.
It almost made its way back.
Threw it 20, almost 23 miles an hour to try and get that action. So a 221 for the defending champion.
Yet again, Kyler needs the first one this time. Last match it was a double, correct?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
That's a very good shot.
Autumn Vodica right where she wants it. Strike in the 9th. And she can close it out here in the 10th.
Winning moment opportunity here for Kyler. Got to have it. Oh!
And he gets the messenger.
Wow.
That's phenomenal. Just having to execute and doing so under so much pressure where it's live or die, right? It's either you keep bowling or you're done for the weekend.
Super sophomore Kyler Zeman climbing the stepladder all the way, likely, to the championship match here in a moment.
Okay, and we see Autumn left a 10-pin. She needs to pick it up and get 9 to secure advancement to the final over Maggie. That spare is big.
Kyler Zeman, formality, keep it on the lane. He's going to be in good shape, and he does just that. Even though it's a split, he'll be okay.
He's
right?
good. Yeah, he's good.
That's why the count is so important,
Yeah.
right?
And this time, Autumn Vodica converts the spare. That was actually a very similar situation to what Maggie Porter faced in the last match where Olivia opened in the 10th with a single pin. Autumn able to convert. And comes up with nothing, so it's a 1-pin win.
That was enough.
222 to 221. Kyler Zeman of Sheboygan Lutheran advances. And Autumn Vodica with a strike to close out for a 215 advances on the girls' side. Our championship matches are set. Carson Schrouth, the defending champion of the boys' individual title match last year, falls in the semifinal this year.
Take a look at the clutch strike from Autumn there to close it out.
And so this is going to be it for Maggie Porter individually here today. Again, she will still contend for a state title with the Sun Prairie Co-op team later today in Division I for the girls. So this is not the end of Maggie Porter's run in her high school bowling career just yet. She will finish third. And Maggie Porter, a very decorated bowler, won the 2023 Division I team state title as a freshman here at Dales Weston Lanes, won the individual title in Ashwaubenon, and now she'll finish third in the individual stepladder finals here in 2026 as a senior. Outstanding career and still a chance to win a title later today.
Daria, before Maggie steps away, is headed to Nebraska to bowl collegiately, and I just look at the ball roll and how I think that would translate at the collegiate level, especially as a left-handed player. And we all know if you get a great lefty in college, you have an advantage.
Yes,
as
you
a team.
always want to have a lefty on your team.
When you look at that ball roll, what do you see as the future? Kind of what's the ceiling, if you will, for Maggie with that power?
I think ceiling is really high. She looks like a very strong player with very, very good fundamentals to her game. I really like her confidence on the lanes. You can see that she's an athlete. I love to see that. I think the speed really helps for her to keep the ball in line. She does have a bit more hands than some other players of her age. So that could possibly force her further right that she would want to be, but because of her very high speed, she can stay in the area where the lanes could be more forgiving. Sometimes it's difficult when the lanes are forcing you, in her case, to the right. You have to open up your angles. You go away from the zone where you have a bigger margin of error, and that's where you have to be more perfect. In her case, with such a high speed that she has naturally, it's a very big advantage. Now, I would say that the other thing that she would probably have to work on a little bit is just to try to slow it down and being able to slow down. But as we know, gaining speed and getting more speed is a lot more difficult than backing it off a little bit and slowing it down.
Championship matches are set. The state individual title matches in 2026 for the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Championships. For the boys, it is 5-seed Kyler Zeman, the sophomore from Sheboygan Lutheran. He has climbed the stepladder all the way to the championship match where he will face Ian Dudley, a junior from Amherst High School, not too far away here from Wausau. Ian Dudley on the season, 84 total strikes and 169 frames bowled. That's a 49.7 strike percentage, actually sixth most in his district, but he got hot here this weekend. The bowler from Amherst with a Baker equivalency rating of 67.14. That's sixth in the district, including his teammate Maddox Brown ahead of him, and Henry Vader, number one in those BER ratings in District 9 this year. But for the state qualifying, Ian Dudley averaging a 243 during the 6 games of qualifying this weekend. Led the field throwing a 777 series in the opening round of qualifying on Friday evening. And then meanwhile, Abby Fletcher will face Autumn Vodica for the girls' side. Autumn Vodica, of course, we just saw defeat Maggie Porter to advance here to the championship match. A little more on Abby Fletcher from Racine Case High School. She is a senior. 79 strikes in 174 frames bowled this season, 45% strike percentage. That's the most strikes, by the way, in District 3A, which is a hotbed of bowling, the Kenosha and Racine area down in the southern part of the state of Wisconsin. A lot of great bowlers, a lot of great teams have come from that area over the last multiple decades. And we've been doing this 28 years with state championships, really. I mean, you can go back to the beginning and look at some of the bowlers that have come from that area of the state. And still today, Indian Trail and Tremper, there's some of the just fantastic programs and individuals over the years. Abby Fletcher now right there among them. Averaged a 221 through the 6 games of qualifying. And she got hot last night. She was actually 7th in the standings on the outside looking in after the first 3 games of qualifying. Tossed a 695 series last night to advance here to the championship. So that is what's in store coming up here. Championship matches. Ian Dudley of Amherst versus Kyler Zeman of Sheboygan Lutheran. Abby Fletcher of Racine Case versus Autumn Vodica of Sussex Hamilton. Championship Sunday here on BowlStreamTV. Winner of this match will receive a $500 scholarship, the Phil Laporte Scholarships, for the boys and girls singles finalists from the Wisconsin State USBC Association. The runner-up will finish with a $400 scholarship as well. So a lot at stake here for the futures of these bowlers as they take to the lanes here for the championship match.
And Jesse, the opportunity to be a state champion, right? It's on the line. Top seeds. One question, Daria will rejoin us here in a moment. It can be difficult for a top seed to just roll in, obviously get the nerves out quickly, get off to a good start in the first couple frames. We talked about in the opening match how getting off to a good start is so important. You don't have a lot of time in a one-game match. Top seeds have even less time, it feels like. And so I think that's the key for both of our top seeds. Can they get off to a good start? Can you get the early double to feel good about what's happening?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our championship matches. Let's hear it for the bowlers who will advance to our step ladder final here on Championship Sunday at Dale's Weston Lanes. For the boys, it is the number 5 seed, Kyler Zeman. He'll face number 1 seed, Ian Dudley. For the girls, number 2 seed, Autumn Vodica. And she'll face the number 1 seed, Abby Fletcher. Let's get loud, let's cheer them on. Championship match underway.
Pretty impressive the way Kyler has performed here. Specifically the last 2 matches, losing the matches basically through 7 frames, but he got hot the last 6 again. Can he get started here against Ian Dudley?
He'll throw first on lane 7, and he gets all 10, and that is how we start the championship match. Meanwhile, for the girls, here comes Abby Fletcher from Racine Case, puts it right in the pocket, knocks down all 10, and it strikes to begin Championship Sunday.
Pretty impressive stuff. We'll watch Ian, his first opportunity. Again, he was the top seed, so he allowed Kyler to go first.
And Ian Dudley gets a break to avoid a split, just a single pin opportunity here, 4 left on the left-hand side. So all spares count the same in the first frame. We'll see if he's able to convert and find that line pretty quick here. Autumn Vodica, meanwhile, on lane 6 from Sussex Hamilton. An 8 count, she leaves 2 pins. That's a 6 and a 10 over on the right-hand side. Ian Dudley, 82% fill percentage on the season. Picks up the spare. Keeps it clean in the first. Can Autumn do the same on 6? Yes, she can. Everybody's clean through 1 in the championship match.
Daria, I'm curious from your perspective, especially as a professional, being a top seed in a stepladder match. Obviously, there's so many things that you're looking, toward. Obviously, bowling in the title match, you're watching what's happening on the pair, et cetera, and so forth. What advice would you give these two as the top seeds?
I would just say to keep watching the pair and staying within themselves. It's very difficult not to watch other matches because sometimes the intensity of the previous match and the player that had won the previous match can really make you crumble inside and feel a bit scared. Autumn's bowled a very, very good game last game, so she's definitely going to put up a fight. So I would just say focus on your game, do your thing, watch the lanes.
Autumn Vodica, spare opportunity here in the second, comes across the lane and gets them both. We've had all the shout-outs that our bowlers have shared throughout the day. This is one of my favorites from Autumn that she had on her little bio sheet here for us. She wants to give a special shout-out to her dogs, Kane and Blue, and her turtle, Frankie, back at home.
Okay. Shout out to the turtle.
Hope Frankie's enjoying watching us here on BowlStreamTV on this Sunday morning. Also, of course, her mom, Jamie, her dad, Tony, and every coach that she's had throughout her bowling career.
I don't know if you guys can notice, but the lanes seriously broke down on 7 and 8. Both of the guys had gotten the breakpoint on 8-9, and the ball actually did overhook for both of them, which means a massive move is probably required. I don't think going ball down would be the answer. They can take that dry spot to their advantage by moving left of their feet, and that's where we'll see who is feeling more comfortable with making adjustments.
Good spare.
Tyler Zeman able to knock down the spare. That's a great observation by Daria as we watch this boys match unfold.
We talked about it earlier too, Jesse. Nice 2-4-5 conversion. The opportunity on the, for Kyler in particular, right? Because he was in the opening match, he's been able to get comfortable. He's seen the moves. He's seen the transition. That is the benefit, or can be the benefit. Doesn't work out all the time, certainly.
Yes.
But it can be the benefit if you can get on a run and get comfortable in a pair in an opening match.
I can see that Kyler did not move with his feet on the left lane. We'll see what does the ball do.
Fresh off the spare in the second. Here comes Kyler Zeman with all 10.
Very good shot.
A little emotion, too. I like it.
Abby Fletcher, the #1 seed from Racine Case High School, with a strike in the third. She was the 2024 Racine Bowler of the Year. Up to this point in her career, that is her favorite career bowling accomplishment. I'm sure winning a individual state championship here this morning would eclipse that.
Very good shot from Ian.
Strike for Ian Dudley of Amherst in the third.
Just an observation though, I think Ian was the very first player that we've seen that picked up left-hand spares with his spare ball.
Huh.
Most of the players we had seen today, they would pick up the spares with the strike ball when they were on the left side and the right side for the left-handers.
So why do you think he's doing that?
I think it just gives him a bit more control. I believe myself that choosing a spare ball is a little bit better. You take the lane out of the play. Very good shot from Ian.
Ian with back-to-back strikes. A shout out to his family for supporting him, his girlfriend Mary, his teammates, and their families. Also some of his former teammates.
Nice break.
Wow. Autumn just broke a split. We love those hits.
And that's a huge shot for Autumn Vodica to get back-to-back strikes in the third and fourth. Everybody clean in the girls' match. Ian had the open frame in the second, but he's got back-to-back strikes now in the third and fourth. Here comes Kyler Zeman working off a strike in the third. That's right where he wanted it. It's a good line and a good shot for Kyler Zeman. Abby Fletcher, oh, she's begging it to avoid a split, and she's able to do that despite coming up high, leaves a makeable spare on the right-hand side.
I do believe also for the girls, the lanes started hooking a bit more comparing to the first match we were watching.
That certainly would make sense too. And with Holly started with urethane. This is way back in the opening match now in the 4 versus 5, and then she had to jump in with something a little clean. So certainly more, a little bit more hook as Daria talked about.
Kyler Zeman in the fifth. Climbing the stepladder all morning, the only sophomore in the field.
Something that you can tell Kyler is really good at is controlling the angles through the fronts. You can see that they're not getting very steep, and he controls the lanes very well. Even though it's been transitioning and changing, it didn't require him to make much adjustments. And it's because his angles through the fronts are really controlled and really good.
Ian Dudley on 8. Said he received a signed bowling pin when he was 5 years old by PBA Tour pro Chris Barnes. And
How
that
about
helped
that?
influence his bowling career.
I thought you were about to say Daria.
Well, he may have done that yesterday too. Daria's been signing the pins here all weekend for the bowlers. Autumn Vodica leaves a spare opportunity here on lane 6 in the 5th. It's really cool, and Daria, I'm sure that means a lot to you also, the amount, like that, just receiving a signed bowling pin like Ian references there from Chris Barnes when he was 5 years old, and how that shapes his bowling career to where he is here today. So cool.
It is really cool. Those little moments that professionals can really impact someone's future in the sport.
Yeah. Autumn Vodica converts the split over on the left-hand side, and we are halfway home in our championship matches. Both pretty tight. Kyler Zeman in the 6th, kept it in the middle of the lane. Not where he wanted that shot. And so he'll have a makeable spare opportunity on the right-hand side. Want to avoid chopping this one. It's not the easiest. Autumn Vodica, Greek Church.
We did see this made.
We've seen one made already. It was Olivia Broadbeck of Menominee Falls earlier this morning. And this is the first really difficult spare opportunity for either of the girls in the championship match. Kyler Zeman.
Uh-oh.
Pushed it right. Open frame in the 6th.
He hasn't had many mistakes today.
No, he is not.
But when he has rebounded very well.
Mm-hmm. And all right, an open frame for Autumn here in the 6th. She gets 3, so she's got a 110.
It's exactly the moment when Abigail wants to step up and double up. You always want to double up if you can on opponent's open frame. It puts double the pressure, helps you control the emotions, help you control the match. So that shot is going to be very important in this final match.
Kyler Zeman bouncing back, as Emil pointed out, with a strike in the 7th. He's been really good at coming back from difficult moments as he's ran up the step ladder here today. Abby Fletcher leaves a split in the 6th, and that is a break that Autumn Vodica needed after her split and open in the 6th.
The 4-9 split is such an unfortunate break. It could have been a high strike. It could have been just a 4-pin or just a 9-pin.
Ian Dudley with 5 in a row.
He's cooking.
In the driver's seat in the boys' championship match now. Open frame for Abby Fletcher. So she has a 108, trailing by 2 pins. Both bowlers with open frames in the 6th, so we know exactly where we stand here with 4 frames to go in the girls' championship match. 3 frames to go for the boys. Ian Dudley. 6 in a row. Abby Fletcher with a strike in the 7th. And you can feel the intensity now around Dale's Weston lanes. The fans packed in wall to wall behind us, on the sides of us. And everybody with pretty good viewing lines to see this championship match. And they're all trying to do the math along with us here on BowlStreamTV to see what it takes for whoever they're cheering on to come away with a victory.
For certain, Kyler needs that one.
And he got it when he needed it. Huge shot to continue to keep the pressure on Ian Dudley to close this one out.
So Kyler can max out to 246.
Yep.
Very nice shot from Autumn.
Autumn, that was a pressure shot because she's up by 2 pins, but Abby had just struck in the 7th. Autumn able to maintain her lead by striking in the 7th herself. That is coming down to the wire.
Yeah. It is a very important shot for Kyler because he can max out to 246, which means that this strike is putting a lot of pressure on Ian, because if Ian does not strike in the 9th, then he would have to double in the 10th in order to secure the match.
That's how big this is for Kyler Zeman. Puts it where he wants it and gets them all.
I tell you, his messenger success rate has to be about 90%, it feels like.
It's amazing to see those pins flying.
Should consider a future career as a mailman for the amount of successful messengers.
My guy has put in the work, and he has been rewarded too. Sometimes you got to put in the work. Dari knows that.
You have to put in the work.
Ian Dudley, 6 in a row. 7 in a row now with a foundation strike in the 9th.
Great shot. Amazing.
Autumn Vodica gets the spare in the 8th. Okay, so she continues to be in a good position. Abby Fletcher can gain control and go into the driver's seat if she can strike here in the 8th. Let's go back and take a look here at the big strike for Ian Dudley. That may be the shot.
If he gets this one in the 10th, that's it. He needs that one.
Ian Dudley for the title.
That was the shot. That's the shot that did it.
Abby Fletcher. Brooklyn. No, she gets 9. Okay, so it's still a tight one for the girls here. Let's first focus on the boys. Ian Dudley is going to step up onto the lane here. He's just going to throw a shot, and he's going to win a championship.
He is, as long as he stays behind the line.
He does. He keeps it on the lane. And why not just get a strike for good measure? Ian Dudley, your 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Boys Individual State Champion from Amherst High School.
Great spin.
Abby Fletcher. It doesn't matter how hard it goes down as long as it goes down. And she maintains a 2-pin lead into the final 2 frames. Ian Dudley wants some noise from the fans cheering on his last shot. The junior from Amherst just won a state championship. 265 to win it. What a weekend, what a year, and what a win for Ian Dudley. And congratulations to Kyler Zeman on an incredible run up the stepladder to take 2nd place for the boys' state championships. Outstanding bowling for both bowlers here. Ian Dudley wins it. Kyler Zeman goes out with a bang here too. 4 in a row with 2 more to go in the 10th. He's going to have a very respectable final score here. All right, so all the focus now on the girls' match. Here is Autumn Vodica in the 9th with a strike, matching Abby Fletcher's strike in the 9th. Still a 2-pin difference with the championship on the line as we head into the 10th.
This is impressive. And one thing that stood out to me, Abby went up when all the crowd was cheering, when all the noise was happening, and dead buried a shot in the 9th frame. That, to me, suggests she is prepared for any and all adversity that will come her way in the future. She's not afraid to make the shot in the moment.
I've also noticed that the crowd was cheering for the finals.
Autumn gets a strike.
Big one.
And she can close it out here. She's in the driver's seat, up 2 pins into the 10th. If Autumn strikes out, she wins.
Talk about a nervous coach.
Great match for Kyler.
Final shot for Kyler Zeman finishes with a 235. Congratulations to him. Outstanding day and an outstanding weekend for the sophomore from Sheboygan Lutheran. All right, here we go. It's a 9 count for Autumn Vodica.
9 is big.
But that does still leave an opening now for Abby Fletcher to step up and win it here in the 10th.
Why was 9 important?
9 was really important because that's the count she needs to force Abby to double in order to win, instead of just getting 1 strike and maybe 9.
Across the lane, finishes a 199 for Autumn Vodica of Sussex Hamilton. All right. Abby Fletcher. .45% strike rate all season long. Best in the district, in the Kenosha-Racine area. Needs one here. And left it a little outside. An 8 count on the first ball for Abby Fletcher. And that means Autumn Vodica is going to win the state championship.
My heart goes to Abby because I know how it stinks to just come in as a top seed and you have 1 game to prove. And then 1 shot can take it away. She did step up. She made the spares when she needed to.
199 to 176 as she opens the 10th. It really didn't matter at that point, though. Abby Fletcher, great bowling all weekend long, but congratulations to Autumn Vodica of Sussex Hamilton, your 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Girls Individual State Champion. What a thrilling couple of matches for Autumn Vodica to win this championship. The stepladder semifinal against Maggie Porter, 215 to 202 came down to the wire, and 199 to 176. She continues to battle after an open frame in the 6th where it looked like she was in trouble.
Yep.
Able to come up with some clutch shots down the final stretch of the 4 frames remaining. Stays clean and wins the state championship. That did not disappoint.
Great performance from both of the champions and both of the runner-ups. Great matches to follow. Amazing to see them stepping up when they need it, getting it, or even if they don't, it's just putting all the confidence and throwing a really good shot.
We'll stick around for our trophy presentation coming up here momentarily. The volunteers from the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club here, the Bowling Centers Association of Wisconsin, getting situated for that in front of the lanes. You'll be able to see that here on BowlStreamTV. $500 Phil Laporte scholarships going to the champions today. Ian Dudley of Amherst and Autumn Vodica of Sussex Hamilton. Daria Payung, thank you so much for joining us throughout the broadcast here today. So again, one final thought as we get situated here before we do our trophy presentation. Your experience here this weekend, interacting with these bowlers, seeing the growth and the thriving nature of the game here across the state of Wisconsin. It's got to be pretty rewarding to see.
It's awesome. It's great to see that bowling is evolving and bowling is not dying, you know. When I came into the U.S. in 2012, I was always told, oh, bowling is a dying sport. There is nothing dying about bowling. We have so many youth players, so many different divisions, so many supporters. It's phenomenal to see the high school level youth playing to how they played the finals. It's amazing. So I'm very happy to see the new generation of players coming up.
They continue to be so good, and you just see the scores go up and up and up every year, battling the difficult conditions that they face sometimes. Yeah. The scores may not be as strong sometimes, but the bowling remains better and better every year.
The talent and the knowledge and how they execute, how the sport of bowling is actually evolving. We see so many styles. We see lefties and righties and two-handers and one-handers. Great to see.
I love that you mentioned the knowledge, because I think that's one of the things, just the general understanding of the sport has evolved over the last decade for all these bowlers, and getting started earlier and understanding how to navigate the oil patterns and what balls you want to use and the rev rates, like all that stuff. It's just so significant for what these bowlers face.
It's one of the bright sides of social media. Not of many bright sides that social media has, but just the amount of videos that are there educating everyone about bowling, educating the youth, so that way there is more knowledge floating around our sport, so that way as players we can all improve and we can see this massive income of a very, very big talent coming up right now, and we can see that here at this high school event.
Speaking of social media, I know you're very active on social media. Where can our fans find you if they want to find more content from you?
They can always find me on Facebook or Instagram. Sometimes I post on YouTube, so if they are willing to follow my journey, more than welcome. I post quite a lot, so that would be the place to find me.
We love it. Thanks so much for
Thank
being here
you
on
so
behalf of
much.
Storm all weekend long.
Thank you so
Daria.
much.
Thanks, Daria. I'll see you in April.
Thank you. No, you'll see me here in the next match.
That's fair. That's fair.
Thank
Daria,
you, guys.
Daria Payuk, our PWBA Tour Champion Pro, on behalf of Storm here all weekend long at the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Championships. All right, individual champions have been crowned. We will do our trophy presentation here coming up in just a moment. You can see here on your screen, getting all situated with the plaques and medals and the scholarships, the Phil Laporte scholarships that will be presented to the 5 finalists for both the boys and the girls who contended all morning long. A reminder, coming up, the team championships. That is in a separate stream here on BowlStreamTV. So Emil will put the link in the chat here for those of you that want to join us over there.
Already done.
So, oh, perfect. All right. And if you haven't subscribed yet, by the way, subscribe to this channel. You want to be notified every time Emil goes live. He does tournaments all around the country. If you're like me and you're here for this weekend, you can follow along with all the great things going on here on BowlStreamTV all year round with Emil Williams Jr. here on BowlStreamTV. So make sure you subscribe so you get notified every time BowlStreamTV goes live from tournaments all around the country at every level all year round. Trophy presentation coming up. We will have the Division II Girls Team Championship coming up first. That's scheduled to start about 15 minutes from right now. Usually that one starts a couple of minutes later than what we anticipate, and then everything else tends to run even a minute or two early throughout the rest of the day. So the Division II Girls Team Championship will be first, then the Division I Girls Team Championship, and that'll be followed by the Division II Boys Co-Ed Championships, and then the Division I Boys Co-Ed Championships. That's your run of schedule here today on BowlStreamTV at Dale's Weston Lanes. So the girls will be crowned 10:30 is their tentative start time. It's 10:15 right now here Central Time. So we'll see if we end up being on time. My guess would be we might run a minute or two behind to start that 10:30 match. But then we'll be right on time with the rest. 11 o'clock, 11:30, and noon we try to get it going and wrap up our championships here on BowlStreamTV on Championship Sunday.
Well, they do pretty much, I would say, in my experience, they go as planned.
Yeah. They've figured out the science here over the years.
I tell you what, I mean, we got Alyssa, we've got Roger, we've got Patrick. They all have done a fantastic job. And certainly those and their predecessors before them. Shout out to Yvonne, who might be watching as well. Again, I'll keep saying it, and I'm not just saying it because they continue to invite us back. But in my experience covering events, this state, the BCAW, really does high school bowling. Again, from my vantage point, right, and I'm thinking about it from our situation here, putting on a great broadcast for viewers and fans to watch. The way the format and the schedule works, they've created a show, right, just like we would, the CW will be popping today for the PBA and the U.S. Open, right? There's a show on Sunday. We've got a show on Sunday, too. Brief announcement coming up for coaching staff.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will do our trophy presentation here coming up in just a moment. But first, with our Division II Team State Championship for the girls coming up next, can we please ask coaches from Watertown and Waukesha North to please report for the meeting down on lanes 19 and 20. Again, coaches for Watertown and Waukesha North, please report to lanes 19 and 20 at this time. Trophy presentation coming up momentarily for our individual state championships.
Speaking of Patrick, there's Patrick. Rolling out, finishing up all the things he needs to do. See if we can get a look at Amherst over there on camera for a quick moment. Still in the celebratory mode, and they certainly should be.
We're also looking for the coaches from Indian Trail to report to lane 19 and 20. Coaches for Indian Trail also, please report to lanes 19 and 20 at this time. Thank you.
Again, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Singles competition has wrapped. If you are just joining us, we will have team competition in probably about 15 minutes still. We are awaiting the singles awards presentation. Once that is complete, then we will move over to our team competition link. This is a separate stream.
So again, our trophy presentation coming up. If you are going to join us for the team state championship broadcast, remember that is in a separate stream coming up here on BowlStreamTV. Trophy presentation coming up right here for the individual champions. Separate stream for the team championship starting up here in just a few minutes. BowlStreamTV's coverage of the 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Championships. Congratulations again to the champions of the individual competition, Autumn Vodica of Sussex Hamilton and Ian Dudley of Amherst, about to be awarded their plaques, their medals, and their $500 Phil Laporte State USBC Association scholarships. Coming up here in just a moment on BowlStreamTV. As soon as I get the all clear from the staff here that points to me and says, okay, let's go. It's a very intricate system, Emil, that we've developed here over the years.
Well,
point and go in. My personal favorite is when they start asking for directions while we're midstream still talking, but, you know, that'll happen.
Well, I think you're about to get the point and go.
Am I getting the point and go? Getting our picture taken, I know that.
We got a picture and a point and go.
We're very efficient around here, I can tell you that much. Yeah, so I was planning to do a 5th place for both, 4th place for both, and work our way out. Is that good? Yeah, we'll go girls, then boys. Girls, then boys, all the way up.
Sounds like we're about ready. Jesse has given his instructions on what he is going to do. By the way, if you need a PA announcer, you should contact Jesse Nelson from ESPN Madison. There's really not much the young man does not do at this point. He does play-by-play. He produces a radio show, probably hosts from time to time as well. You hear him on the air on wait.
ESPN Wisconsin, yeah. Well, I'm just waiting. There's one thing that I've wanted to do for a while now. So at the Milwaukee Brewers Stadium, my dad was an usher there for a long time. Miller Park, now American Family Field. So Bernie Brewer, the mascot of the Milwaukee Brewers, has this slide out in the outfield. I've wanted to slide down that slide forever. Well, a couple of years ago, I actually got to do it. Our station had the opportunity to go. We were doing a promotional campaign, slide into the postseason for the Brewers, and so got to go slide down the slide. So I said, okay, well, now I check that off my bucket list. What's next? I want to play the organ. I took 8 years of piano lessons. I still dabble around on a little keyboard at home. I would love to play an organ at the Milwaukee Brewers game. Just like one pregame organ. Just come up with a good one. That's on my list still.
I'm surprised, and you probably have. At least I would think that someone has commissioned you to do or to handle PA at various events.
I've been asked to do some of what we've done here today with the announcements.
Gotcha.
The first time I was asked to be an auctioneer, I was terrified. I didn't have that in me. But
that's another gear.
There are some partners of ESPN Wisconsin, Celebrations Entertainment. Our buddy Jeffrey in the Madison area is involved in a bunch of events. He's an outstanding auctioneer, so he took me under his wing, offered me some tips on how to do that to the best of my ability. It's not just about speaking super fast.
That is correct. The info there is very unique. No matter what the auction is or what the items are or whatever it is, you do need to be able to understand what it is that you're trying to get people to bid on.
You know, we should really throw everyone off. We should have you do these announcements one year, and they just
That'd
be
be
like,
interesting.
Whoa.
That'd be interesting. I'm good.
Let's just take them all by surprise.
I got a little voiceover work on the resume.
Let's go rogue and just have Emil do the announcements for one of these champions coming up here one of these years. So we'll put that on the docket for 2027 in Ashwaubenon.
Folks, we are, again, just awaiting the official go-ahead for our singles presentation to begin, and it looks like we've got the go-ahead. And here we go. Here's Jesse Nelson.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. It's now time to award our trophy presentation for the state individual championships. A round of applause for all of the competitors here this morning. And let's give another round of applause to Phil Laporte, helping provide the Wisconsin State USBC Association scholarships for the finalists this morning. Bowlers, when I call your names, please come up to the approach. You'll receive your plaques, your medals, and we'll do pictures as well. Congratulations to the bowlers finishing in 5th place in this year's individual competition. Holly Orgman of Wittenberg, Burnhamwood. And Levi Gabriels of Bayport. Holly and Levi both received $100 scholarships from the Wisconsin State USBC Association. Finishing in 4th place for the girls, Olivia Broadbeck. And for the boys, Nolan McNally. Olivia and Nolan each received $200 scholarships from the Wisconsin State USBC Association. Finishing in 3rd place for the girls, Maggie Porter. And for the boys, Carson Schrouth. Congratulations to Maggie and Carson receiving $300 scholarships from the Wisconsin State USBC Association. Your 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Singles runner-ups, Abby Fletcher. And how about the run he had today, Kyler Zeman. Abby and Kyler both receive $400 in scholarships from the Wisconsin State USBC Association. And now, your 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Girls Individual State Champion, Autumn Vonika. And your 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club Boys Individual State Champion, Ian Dudley. Congratulations to Autumn and Ian, both receiving $500 scholarships from the Wisconsin State USBC Association. One more round of applause for all of the finalists here on Championship Sunday. All right, everybody cheer them on during picture time. Let's hear ya. Once more, a huge round of applause for the entire staff of volunteers, the staff here at Dale's Weston Lanes. That's helped put on an exceptional 2026 Wisconsin High School Bowling Club State Tournament. And it continues coming up next. The state team championship finals. Begin with the Division II girls championship match, followed by the Division I girls match a few minutes afterward. And we'll get to the boys co-ed Division II and Division I state championships. If you're sticking around, we hope you're going to be loud, you're going to be awake, and you're going to be ready to go with us here at Dale's Weston Lanes. You can also watch live or on demand later on BowlStreamTV. Check it out, subscribe on YouTube, BowlStreamTV, where you can watch the live broadcasts, both of the individual tournament from earlier this morning, if you want to watch it back. You'll also watch the live team championships coming up here in just a little bit.
All right, and with that said, briefly bring it back into the booth before we officially close out our singles competition and head over to our team link. Emil Williams Jr., ESPN Madison's Jesse Nelson, and Jesse, phenomenal bowling across the board. Obviously, Kyler almost ran the ladder in the boys division, but Ian, boy, he was just a little bit too much. And then obviously another classic match. Every single girls match was classic.
It was tight. It was tight throughout, yes, no doubt. And that was to be expected. Senior-laden, veteran experience for the girls' match today. 4 seniors plus the junior. Just a phenomenal bowling exhibition here for the best of what this state has to offer. Daria and I were talking about that a little bit as we were wrapping up our coverage here a few minutes ago. What we just showed viewers here on BowlStreamTV is some of the best that Wisconsin high school bowling has to offer this year. These individuals, decorated champions, great members of their teams, love bowling in their communities. All the shout-outs they wanted to give, a lot of them also referenced the communities and the support from their home centers and everyone behind them all season long and all throughout their careers. And so the perspective that I think a lot of these senior bowlers had coming into this tournament, and then also some of the like Kyler Zeman's a sophomore. He's going to be a name we're going to hopefully hear for the next couple of years in these tournaments. Ian Dudley won it. He's a junior. He'll have a chance to defend his crown next year. So it's also a good glimpse into what's still to come in Wisconsin high school bowling. So a great, just all-around performance here for the individual competition here this morning in 2026.
And the opportunity to continue to watch some of these seniors move on to the collegiate level and compete there also. So truly phenomenal stuff. We will step aside for now for the singles, and then we move over to our team competition. That link has been dropped in the BowlStreamTV chat here. So with that said, we appreciate the BCAW, of course, Storm, Classic Products, the wonderful, wonderful sponsors who make this certainly possible, the Wisconsin High School Bowling Club itself, Storm. Daria Payonk joined us, and Daria will also join us again for some of our team competitions as well.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome.
She's going to watch a little bit of the Storm doubles, and then she will come back for some of our team competitions.
Excellent. Can't wait to have her back.
So with that said, we say so long for now from Dale's Weston Lanes. Again, head on over to team competition. He's Jesse Nelson. My name is Emil Williams Jr. We will see you then. Congrats to our singles champions right here on BowlStreamTV.